So let's have a look. I think we're live. Good evening, all. Hopefully we're live with you. I think we are. It's always hard to know, isn't it? Or it is for us anyway. Technologically, we're never very good at this. So hopefully you've all found us and hopefully we're in the right place. So as always, if you have joined us this evening and you can hear us and you can see us, please let us know in the comments that you're here and that we're clear, because it's never a guarantee that we're going to hit all of the right buttons and get it working. So just give us a little comment. It's also lovely to have you here with us. So please do say hello if you're in the room or room. I suppose that's a bit of a blast from the past, isn't it? It's a bit chat room-esque. AOL 1990 maybe. But no, lovely to have you here with us on our lovely video this evening. Tonight you will pick up I'm bubbling with excitement, and I genuinely, hand on heart, mean that. This is a collection that we have been really looking forward to sharing with you. I would say we started work on this in September-ish, October maybe. It's been a long time coming. And I'm really genuinely excited about this one. We'll give you a few sneaky peeks and a few hints along the way. But this one, I feel, is probably the cutest collection we've ever done. And I think anyone who loved Rodney is about to fall in love with some new friends. Little tease. I promise we'll show you them shortly. But before we do, let's say good evening to Peter. So I'll give you a little flash of Pete on hostage cam. There he is.
I'm still here. I haven't left since last week.
You have left.
Well, a little bit. Hope we're all okay.
Don't lie to us. We know you've been out and about.
Yeah, Lynn will vouch for me actually. And
yeah,
Wendy.
You did some deliveries this week, didn't you? So yeah, he's been out. We let him out every now and again, but I do think it looks like a little hostage setup. Never mind. Okay, let's have a little look and see who we've got joining us. Oh, they can hear us. That's always lovely to know. So good evening, Megan. Good evening, Karen. Evening, Porsche. Lovely to have you with us, Marguerite. Lovely to have you here, Laura, Alison, Joanna, Sharon, Angela, Kay, Judy, Lou, Judith, Dawn. Wow, there's lots of you here this evening. Thank you for all joining us. Genuinely, we know, especially when it gets to the evening, there's lots going on and lots you might want to be doing, even if it's just a cheeky little snooze on the sofa. So it's always appreciated that you give up your evenings to come and join us for our little chit chats. Now, this week we are looking at a brand new collection. If you have any questions about it as we go through it, please let us know and we'll do our best to answer them for you. We think we're prepared. We think we've got everything set up, but there'll be something that we've forgot or done wrong, so bear with us. What else do we need to tell you? So let's get the housekeeping bits out of the way slightly, shall we? So I've wrote it down so don't forget, because normally at this stage I have to ask Pete what we will be sharing with you this evening. This is a sneaky peek, so it is released exclusively on Highlight Crafts on Thursday morning at 10 AM. I'm then back with you at 12 PM on Highlight Crafts. And then on Friday, I'm there for a 2-hour show from 10 till 12. So you've got 4 hours of me over on Highlight Crafts. If you've not watched or seen Highlight Crafts before, it's an online platform that you're watching just like you're watching this now. There are loads of different shows, loads of different brands, loads of different companies. It's an incredible little place to go and sort of get your crafty fix. You can watch it on their website, you can watch it on their Facebook page. If they're our shows, you can watch them literally where you're watching this today. So they will be broadcast on our Facebook page for you. So you don't have to go and look elsewhere for them. But obviously, if you want to join in and watch some of the other shows Highlights do, then of course, then watch them on their website, watch them on their Facebook, watch them on their YouTube or their Instagram. So there's lots of places you can catch up with them. You can also watch them back afterwards if you can't watch them when they're live. So exclusive to Highlight on Thursday, Friday. That ends at 10 AM on Monday morning. I'm going to look to Pete for the date. I think it's the 3rd of February, 4th of February. That's the thing I forgot to write down. Sorry.
You set me up.
You did set me up. Sorry. So they will then come out to our stockists on Monday morning at 10 AM. Now, if we have any stockists with us, as we go through this collection, if you would like to pop a little link up to let us know if this is a collection you like the look of and if you're going to be stocking this, or if you'd just like to put up a link taking our lovely people to the products on your website of ours, then of course you can do that. It's a stockist fest. We love to support our stockists. So if you're with us, give us some comments. Let us know that you're here. It's nice to give you a shout out. Have I missed anything? One thing. When we broadcast this on YouTube, it will go onto YouTube tomorrow. It is always lovely when we put them on YouTube, and lots of people join in with the chit chat and the competitions and bits. Just as a little bit to remind you at the beginning, these events take place at 7 p.m. on Monday night on the Jamie Rodgers Craft Facebook page. What you're watching is now a repeat, so just bear that in mind when you're entering the competition. I hate anyone to be disappointed or feel that they're not counted. So it is a repeat when you're watching on YouTube. We will eventually get to do lives on both, but being honest with you, we have to have 1,000 followers on YouTube before they'll let us go live on there. I think they like to make sure that we are who we say we are, and I think that's the number where they sort of unlock the gates a little bit and let us in. We're currently on about 500 followers. We've got a bit of work to do yet till we get to our 1,000. It's a new page. We will get there. Your support is always appreciated. So if you haven't followed us on YouTube yet, it's just Jamie Rodgers Crafts. You will find us. Give us a subscribe. It would be lovely to do that and be able to broadcast to you everywhere. So Kim is back from the pub. Always good to hear. Oh, Lou. Oh, I'm sorry, but I hope it goes well and I hope the treatment's doing what it should, and I'm sure it is. So hopefully you'll be able to catch up and it'll give you a crafty smile when you get to watch the shows. There's hopefully a little bit of a reward for that. But sorry to hear you're going through that, genuinely, but it's lovely to have you here with us. Evening Kim, evening Ian, evening May. It's lovely to have our DT in the chat with us this evening. They have made some beautiful samples, genuinely. Sample-wise, I've got loads to go through, so I'm going to stop waffling and start showing you bits in a second, I promise. But it is lovely to have them here with us, and they'll be able to sort of jump in and tell you what they did and how they did it, hopefully answer some of your questions as we go through this collection. So, I think we've done all our houseworking bit. We've probably forgot something. Yell in the comments if we have. If we haven't, shall we have a little dive in? Shall we see what we're talking about? Now, last night, I gave you a little sneaky, didn't I? And I know a few of you have worked out, obviously, a couple of the bits that are on there. Joanna, I'm happy to tell you that we're going to kick things off by showing you the circles. Now, I also know that Juliet Craft Bliss has been counting down the hours to these becoming available. So let's delve in and look at the brand new nested set, shall we? I will be honest, I'm not starting with the boring bits, but I'm starting with the essential bits. The exciting bits coming, but we'll get there, I promise. Let's delve in, shall we? So, this is our first one. Now, I know lots of you have seen these before. Pete might even do us a little favour and dig out the previous ones in case you haven't. But this is our Mats and Layers collection. Genuinely, the messages, the waiting game for getting the circles released have been off the charts. We know you're after the circles. So far, there have been squares, there have been rectangles, there have been squares, I've said squares twice, I think, haven't I? And ovals. So squares, rectangles and ovals already exist in this setup. We'll look more at those shortly, but we will persevere and take you through the new ones, which are the brand new circles. Now, this is our plain circles set. And in here, we received 24 different size circles. Now, later, I will point out one of these. And I'm going to give you a little sneak now. Not what you're expecting, I should imagine. One of these matches our disco ball. Not words I thought I would say very often, but when we get to our disco ball a little later on, one of these matches up with that to cut that out for you. All will come clear, I promise. So there's 24 in the plain circles. Then if you have seen these before, you know where we're going with this. We have 5 different options and everything is interchangeable within the sizes for you. So we then move on to our decal, edge and stitch circles. Now, I don't know how well you're going to see this, but our stitch lines are all separate dies. So when you have the packet, they all come individually and they're not attached to the decal edge. So you can cut just those lines on their own and they will stay in your card for you. If you wish to nest them inside your decal edges, then of course you can do that as well. And they will of course fit in there perfectly. But it gives you freedom to take those stitch lines and use them throughout all of the different sets that we're going to be looking at. Or of course you might choose to say, well, actually, I'm going to pierce a circle on the inside of a square. and your circle will then fit within your squares and create that for you. Or you might choose to add in a stitch line and then cut out the middle to create a circle like we're going to do in one of the demos when we get to demoing shortly, to create that really cool effect. So there's loads of ways that you can mix and match between these, but that introduces you to your decal outside edge with your separate stitch edge, option number 2. We then move on and we have got our pierced and scalloped circles. So this time, instead of a stitch line, we have a really cool delicate little pierce line, and the outside edges are of course our scallops. I'm hoping you can see that okay. It looks a little bit blurred on my screen, but these are really delicate, very, very small little pierced details. When we bring in just the pierced elements for you, again, hopefully you can see that okay, but you've got lots and lots of pierced details running just in rings there. And I've of course taken all of the sizes to create this, just laid them out and cut them as such. There are so many different ways you could use these. You could put those little pierced lines just yo-yoing across, maybe cut out a couple of apertures in them, sink things inside them, use them as places to build up. If you're into clean and simple cards, just doing this over the background and adding on a couple of flowers and a word could look really lovely. So loads of ways we can play with these. That's our scallop set within this trio of 5. We then move on to our postage dies. So this is postage circles. In this set we receive 11 elements. Now with these ones we physically can't fit any more separate dies between them. That's why we give you as much as we can possibly give you within the set. These again layer perfectly, but of course we can't actually manufacture them with elements in between them, but you can bring in your pierced, you can bring in your stitch lines, and you can put those between them. When we produce dies, we have to allow a certain amount. It's 3 mil, I can tell you, it's 3 mil between each die element. So if we was to add a stitch or a pierced line into here, you would have to have 6 mil, so 3 mil either side of that line, and the width of the line. So if we look at this, you're looking at about 3 mil there, maybe a little bit more. So you're looking at creating sort of 9 minimum, probably 10 or 11 mil between each die. There physically isn't that much room, so we can't fit any more in them. That's how comes we end up with these, but how comes I wanted to bring you these interchangeable elements that you could put between them. We then have for you the 5th one in our collection, which is our fluted circles. Now I'm going to give my parents a shout out. They've been making the boards today and these look great, don't they? I love the way they've taken them and created them in this shell style effect. This of course doesn't have to be done like that. You could of course pyramide them up if you want to, layer them up however you wish to, but I do kind of like this effect. I think that makes a really cool shell style look. Maybe you could add in some score lines or some stamp details to them, turn that into a bit of a nautical theme, which could work really nicely. But again, in this one, we've got 11 dies. Now, are there any questions before we move on about our lovely circle collection? So I'll let Pete scan for questions. I'm just going to go for the lovely comments because I like to see what you're saying. So Kim is saying, yay. Yeah, I think a few of us have been waiting for the circles, me included. I have been naughty. If anyone looks back, I've been sneaking them in for months in different places, but just trying not to make it too obvious because well, I have like, Pete's giving me the look. Pete's giving me the look. But yeah, in a couple of places, not many, but a few, you will see circles appear. But trying not to like tease you too much. Fran, who have you been booted from? We haven't booted you. Hopefully that's just an internet-y thing. But lovely to have you with us, Fran. I don't think I said hello to you earlier, so lovely to have you with us. Let's have a little look. Trish is there. First time I've come across someone with the same surname as me. Oh, that'd be our lovely Laura. Laura's lovely. I've known Laura for many, many years, and she's very, very talented crafter, very lovely lady. Let's have a little look. I think that's about all. How do I decide, Judy? I know, how do we? And of course, as I mentioned, these all interchange with the ones that we've already brought to you. Now, you might not want to use a circle with an oval, but you could if you wanted to. Maybe you want to cut the apertures out in the middle. Maybe you want to use the ovals to make some pretty flowers and then put them out onto a circle. That would work really nicely. Cutting circles into rectangles can look really lovely, especially if you wanted to make like door hanger elements and bits like that. That could work quite nice if you wish to. And then of course, in my opinion, I think it's the squares and the circles you're probably going to be using together and they're going to work really nicely. Now we have told you before, there will be more to this family in time. You see we bring one out every 2 or 3 months. there will be more. And I tell you this, just so that you know, this isn't a library that's completed. It's a library under construction, because it's nice to know that there'll be more and more that you can play with. What is the largest size in the plain set, asks Angela. The very largest, sorry, I should have told you that as I went for a bit excited tonight, apologies. The largest is 8 by 8, and then they go down from there all the way down to 3/4 of an inch. So when we look at them actually in the die size, 8 inches is your largest, 3/4 of an inch is your smallest. So you've got all of those different options, ridiculous amount of options between them. And then to me, I look on these as what I'm going to bring in to cut out the middles of the postage ones or the decal ones or all of the others, because I want to make frames with these for my scrapbook albums. And I don't always want to sort of a patterned insert. I want that crisp circle line. So maybe a crisp circle line with a pierced detail and then a postage stamp edge would make some really lovely frames. So if we've answered all of those questions, let's have a little move on and look at the next one. I can see that Laura reckons it's 16 years.
You feel old.
I do feel old, Laura. That's done it to me. 16 years, I suppose it is. Yeah, that's a long time. So we'll come back to these a little later. I haven't told you prices, have I? Oh, Pete, we forgot prices. Just throw out a couple at us while I'm sort of getting through these. So I know this off the top of my head, that the plain, the stitch, and the decal, those are all one price point.
Yeah, they're $29.99.
And then the other two?
And the recommended price, sorry, that's a recommended price. And those two are $24.99.
$24.99, $29.99 each. Lovely, thank you. I'll try and do that as we go through them in future. As Pete mentions, all of the prices we will discuss this evening are, of course, our recommended retail prices, so that you know what to expect when these get to the stockists. Okay, moving forward. Now, this is something I'm really excited about. And I know I'm going to say that a lot tonight. I am genuinely really, really excited, and I know I need to get out a bit more. We are looking at our alphabet dies. Now, you know I like to tease you. Should we just highlight a little word up here? This is our medium set of alphabets. So I would give that a little indicator that there's going to be others. I'm just highlighting the wording. You put it on the packaging. I'm just merely letting them know that this is clearly marked as a medium set. So, okay, size-wise for you, to give you an idea, the height of the die is 1.2 inches. If you measure them, they say 6 inches because that's obviously the length of the die. And what I've done here is I've put the dies together in strips for you. Because these are larger, instead of doing them all on one plate, we've done them in strips. And in here, you're also going to find not only have you got your uppercase velvet script, you've also got little hearts, little commas, all of the little dashes and bits you need. Now, of course, this is the uppercase set. So that means we need to bring in our lowercase set so that you've got all of the bits you need. Now, of course, with this one, we've got the @ symbol, the hashtags, the ampersand, the question mark, the exclamation mark, as well as the full alphabet. And you're going to notice that we've added little tails to each of the letters. So when you put these together, they'll look like joined up writing. Now I'm going to send Pete on another little mission here for me. Can we have a couple of our script layered sentiments, please? You know, happy birthday, birthday wishes, top corner, if that helps, on just the actual product. Please, Pete, sorry. This velvet script, thanks, Pete. This velvet script matches in with the font and the size and the style, or not size, sorry, but that matches in with the, that's another little clue. This currently matches in with the font you're going to find going throughout our different banners. Now, I've got doubles here, so forgive me, but these are all of the different ones we've already bought you. And this is giving you the opportunity that you can go, thinking of you, Beryl, Doris, whatever name you want to put on there. Or maybe happy birthday, dad, son, whatever it is you want to create. Obviously, this is going to be your focal point, but we didn't want to end there. So we'll also bring in the velvet script numbers in medium. So again, you might want to add on here, happy birthday, Doris, 63. I don't know. This isn't planned out. I apologise. but it gives you that ability to mix and match between them and build that family further. Now, as I've give you a little hint, there will be more sizes in these 3 coming. And again, I tell you that so that you know you're going to be able to do your verses, you're going to be able to do your titles, you're going to be able to build out in more styles. And then maybe later down the line, and that is a maybe, that isn't genuinely not a hint, I have to be careful what I'm telling you, maybe down the line we'll do other fonts as well to give you more variation to play around with, but we're starting very much with our Velvet script because it matches in with those sentiments, giving you that ability to mix and match between the two. And just how lovely is it to be able to do happy birthday 10, happy birthday 40, happy birthday 21, whatever you want to do, it's going to work for you. So price-wise on these, Pete, could we have the recommended retail prices, please?
Yep, sure. So the uppercase ones are recommended at $16.99.
Ooh.
The lowercase is at $12.99. And the numbers set is at $5.99. Now, Fran was asking about if there's any commas, punctuations in them. There is, Fran. In the uppercase set, there's commas and punctuation bits there, which Jamie's now shown you.
All right, and that comes up here next to your heart. So that was $16.99. 12. Just waited for him to put down his post-its. Haven't I? $16.99, $12.99.
Yep. And $5.99.
$5.99. That's good, isn't it? £6 for 10 dice, 2, 5, 8, 10. Yeah. So again, that one is done all on one plate for you, just so you know. The lowercase is on 4 different bars, and then the uppercase is on 4 different bars as well. Just so, and if you look at that, and you know, I had this chat with Pete not that long ago, and he said, but what about if I just want to cut one letter? You just put the card over the top of one letter, don't you? But if we put them together like this for you, if you do want to bulk cut them, it's easier. You're also then not going to be looking for a die just for a comma, because of that, life's too short, isn't it? So it keeps them together, hopefully keeps them in a tangible way for you to hold on to them. How are we doing? Shall we move on to the next bit?
Yeah, Fran was just asking on what size the uppercase letters were again, sorry.
So the actual die height is 1.2 inches to give you a scale. Obviously that changes a little bit by letter and the way they are, but about 1.2 inches is your approximate size guide for each one. Obviously your heart, if you have a little look at that, it's a little bit smaller. So yeah, just over 1 inch roughly for your upper. Just over 1 inch again for your lowercase, I suppose. Again, that's going to be, there's a lot of difference between something like an ampersand, isn't it, and the E. So yeah, but you're looking over just over 1 inch as an estimate, okay? We're on the cusp of exciting. I'm so excited about these. I really do need to get out more,
so
Pete.
cute.
I really do need to get out more. But we're going to show you these. So this is our flower set. Now, again, you will have seen these a little bit on our sneaky peek last night. This is our brand new floral bouquet set. And the recommended retail price for this set is
$15.99.
$15.99. And in here you've received 2 dies because we've put the foliage in this set for you to save you buying 2 different sets. So your foliage is coming in with your flowers. And these are designed in such a way that you can layer the flowers over the foliage if you wish to, or you can use the flowers on their own. I have so fallen in love with these that I don't think it's the last you'll see from these because I've so enjoyed playing with them. When we look at these, I'm hoping you're going to see that okay. There is deboss work over your flowers, as there always is when we do flowers, really, isn't there? Just that ability to highlight with ink, to bring in some depth to them, I always think is really lovely. So we try to do that where we can. So actually, in total, in this set, you're going to be able to cut 10 items between the 2 dies, but it's going to come out and give you all of these pieces all embossed, ready for you to play with and decorate. So, now we move on.
I feel we need a drum roll.
I feel, do you know what? This is a genuine fear. This might just be me, Pete, Lynn, Ian, Wendy, Zoe, and Sharon that's fallen in love with these. And you might all tune out now. You might be like, okay,
what are they doing?
This ain't for us. But I love this, and I have a sneaky suspicion that you might love this as well. Now, I told you previously, this is the first time we have done dies and stamps together that actually layer to cut out for you. It's something we've been asked for since we started last June, and we've had to pull an awful lot of strings to make this happen and to make this happen in the way that it's happened. and to be honest with you, to keep the price at a realistic price. Because of the minute we start bringing two components together from two different places in two different materials, I suppose, that all creates a bit more of an issue, shall we say. But we wanted to do it in this way, all together for you in one set, so that everything is there. So the minute you purchase your packet, you haven't got to worry about if one item's out or the other one's. Everything's together, everything coordinates, everything matches up. So with this in mind, I'm going to introduce you to Freddie the Fisherman. Now, you possibly have your ideas already about Freddie the Fisherman and what that could mean. I don't predict. You will imagine it's a cat! Okay, I know, I need to get out more. Welcome to Freddie. Freddie is our glorious little stamp set, which has his matching die set, all coming together for you in one set. So you've got a DL set of stamps, and then your matching dies. I told you this is cute. This is, to me, this is just adorable. I'll try and keep my containment on my excitement. But we've got Freddie in his little dungarees. Now, of course, we've called Freddie a fisherman. Freddie doesn't have to be a fisherman. Freddie can be whatever you want him to be. And of course, we wouldn't just leave you with a random fisherman. There is more coming in this collection, and there's more that we're going to introduce you to in a moment. And we've left it so the pieces are interchangeable to a very large degree. So you've got a fishing rod, you've got a little cat bowl, you've got a little bucket of fish, you've got a fish. On top of that, you've got Have a Perfect Day, and you've got a little fishbone set of stamps as well. Now, these two don't have dies that come with them. All of the bits that have the dies, I've gone ahead and we've cut those out for you and put them on the board as separate so you can see them. But there is a couple of extra bits throughout your sets that, you, again, are going to help build up your scenes or build up what you're going to be doing with them. So, of course, I Have a Perfect Day. That fits really nicely onto a lot of the banners that we was looking at a moment ago with our sentiments. The alphabets perfectly come into this because you're going to... I don't personally feel that these are for children's cards, possibly because I'm a big kid at heart, but they do, of course, lend themselves to children's cards. So I feel if you want to put the names on there or you want to put the ages on there, it's going to all tie in really nicely. What have we got going on in our comments, Peter?
Seems to be a lot of love.
A lot of love.
Yeah, a lot of love for Freddie.
I need Freddie is gorgeous.
Only had a family to go with him.
Wait, stop it over there. Now, Freddie, of course, I think I just see something. Freddie could be a she, absolutely. And you're going to see that, I promise you. We're going to talk about them in their individual characters as we go through them. But just like Rodney the Snowman was rarely Rodney, and he become Rosie, and lots of other characters and ideas, exactly the same with these. We name them mostly so I remember who they are. Because if I didn't, I would never remember the names. You see that? Think entwined leaves. How many times have I called the entwined leaves twiddly bits? Names I don't remember in one ear out the other. Characters, like Rodney, I can ingest and remember. So we call them names. And to be honest, coming up with the names is one of my favourite bits. And I didn't think I should tell you this because it isn't in the works at all. It isn't, you know, it's not on the schedule at all. But I really want to do one and call it Ricky the Bricky, which I found absolutely hilarious. Kind of on my own on this. But yeah, so the names have to sort of align to something, but you, colours, styles, take it wherever you wish to. Freddie would happily be Francesca, which is actually two of the names from Traitors currently, isn't it? Francesca and Freddie.
It is.
Of course. Not at all linked, I promise. So, okay, so that's Freddie with his little set there. Now, Freddie needs company. So who should we give Freddie? Shall we bring in Hazardous Henry? Now, Henry is our workman. Oh, I didn't tell you about Freddie, did I? So Freddie is a lovable rogue of a cat who is a prankster at heart, loves fishing, and absolutely loves cod and chips, because all of these have to have a little bit of a backstory. So that's Freddie. Moving on, we have Hazardous Henry. Now, Hazardous Henry is a mischievous puppy that gets into trouble, and I think you can see that. That is written all over his face, isn't it? Now, this one, it goes perfectly with our mechanical collection. I told you there would be a link. I told you more was coming. This is the link. This is what I was on about. You will notice that our lovely little Henry is holding onto a spanner here. That spanner can easily be snipped out of here when we get on to showing you samples shortly. His little hazard coat easily becomes a waistcoat. I've got one in a little hippie vest. I'll share that with you shortly. There is loads you could do with this, or you can paper piece over the top of the clothing on any of them if you wish to. I know Lynn's done one where he's in a little flowery dress. That works really nicely too. So in with Hazardous Henry, we needed some bits to build the scene, because that's really important that we don't just have a character. We need more than the character. So we've got a little bar here, which is your sort of hazard sign, road marking bar. You've got a little traffic cone. You've got the little lights to go on your bar and your cone. You know, we're building that I'm building the road kind of set, really. Then you've got 2 stamps. One says this card is under construction, and the other one says caution, birthday ahead. You've then got the little hat, which of course fits on top of Henry. That also looks really lovely on top of Freddie, and you can yo-yo throughout them. Then we've got our little spanner, and that of course comes with a die. Oh, this is in the wrong place. Sorry about that. I've just spotted. Ignore the party hat. The party hat is coming up. Our boards have been done today very quickly, shall we say. There's a lot going on at the moment in our little world. So please forgive the party hat, but it is coming up in the next set. So ignore that one. But you will have the dies to create the spanner, the light, the party cone, the traffic cone, and of course cut out Henry. And then of course you've got your stamps in there as well. So loads that you're going to be able to create with Hazardous Henry, who, as I said earlier, is a little lovable rogue, isn't he? He's a little mischievous puppy that gets into lots of trouble. So what are we thinking to Hazardous Henry? Have we got love for Hazardous Henry?
Seems to be a lot of love. Nicola's asked if they could be, I'm worse than you, a cute rabbit for Easter, maybe.
Oh, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. We will see, Nicola.
We're saying nothing.
We're saying nothing. Nothing at all. But maybe there might be. We'll see. But in this release, shall we top off the dies and stamp sets with a third? Shall we give you one more? And I can see, Trish, we've done it again. We haven't told them prices, have we?
No, we haven't.
How much are these?
These are, a recommended retail price is $19.99.
$19.99, and that, of course, will bring you your stamps and your dies, which I'll be honest with you, our DL stamps are normally $11.99. $11.99. So that means that we're getting the dies for £8. That's not bad, is it? I like that. So yeah, $19.99 is your complete set. Okay.
Wait for it.
Fran says, I think you lot have set up some little cameras around here and you watch us. I think there's some little like sneakies going on.
I don't think I've seen Fran's comment yet.
Fran says, how about birds?
Oh, I've seen that.
How about It's as if we guessed, Fran. So let's have a little look. Shall we move on to our next one? Our last one, I can't even say it without laughing, honestly. Going to introduce you to Deirdre, the Disco Diva. I know, it's that bad, isn't it?
If they could see your face.
So Deirdre, the Disco Diva, is our owl. So with Deirdre, we've got our owl ready. Now, of course, Deirdre could be holding onto a spanner. She could quite easily be holding onto a fishing rod. Owls like to fish, but they also like to party. So in here, we have got our little stamp and die to make a happy birthday cake. You've also got a little glass because Deirdre's a bit of a drinker. And you've got a little hat as well to go with her. Deirdre is.
I just thought of Kim down the pub.
Sorry. I wasn't going to make the connection. Wasn't going to say a word. And then, of course, there's a balloon to go with this one as well. So when we bring in the set and show you the board, you can see Deirdre stamped out. You can see her birthday cake. You can see her streamers, her balloon, and her party hat. This is where the hat's meant to be, guys. And I told you it was in with that one. Forget the hat. Deirdre is holding on to the hat, along with her little martini glass and her balloons and her little other bits. So Deirdre is partial to any drinks going, really, but she does love a martini. She's a big fan of ABBA, like all disco divas, and as you can see, she is a bit of a sassy owl who is the life and soul of the party. And yes, we possibly do need help. If anyone has sent for help, me and Pete possibly do need some. But that brings you our 3 new stamp and die sets that complete this release of the Cuddly clan, dies and stamps. But you know us, we couldn't leave it there. There always has to be a stencil or two. So let's bring in the stencils to show you what we have. So stencil-wise, we have done for you an 8x8 stencil of spanners. Now, of course, this is going to work really nicely with our mechanical collection, which has just come out, but it of course works perfectly with Hazardous Henry, who just so happens to be holding on to a spanner. So there is your matching stencil as such to go with Henry. We then have for you, Henry's greedy, so I'll show you Henry's other stencil while we're at it. He's a bit of a greedy pup, he's mischievous and he's greedy. So let's show you the next one. This one is our canine paws and bones. So again, 8x8 stencil of all different dog bones and paws. So maybe if you wish to use Henry and decorate him as a disco diva or as a fisherman, you want something else to go behind him other than spanners. So of course, this is where our canine paw prints and bones are going to be coming in. These of course emboss brilliantly. You know our stencils are cut from a really thick mylar, so that when we send them for our machine to emboss them, that works really nicely. When we use texture paste with them, again, that's going to be a treat. That's going to look really lovely. Then we move on, and I'm going to show you this one. This is genuinely my favourite stencil for embossing we have ever done. How this is a stencil and not an embossing folder, I don't know. This is our balloons and streamers. Now these, of course, are the same balloons and streamers which come in with Deirdre, our disco diva, but brought to you in a stencil format. So when we emboss this, to me, this is the closest I feel that we've embossed something and it looks like it's a proper folder. The level of embossing, the level of detail, I really love this. I think this one, I'm going to predict it now, I think this one's going to be a bestseller. Everyone celebrates birthdays. The #1 cards we make are birthday cards normally, aren't they? And I think this is going to fly off them shelves. So when the minute this arrives, you see it anywhere, I would get hold of this one. I think we're going to struggle to keep up with those. And of course, that is going to match in perfectly with Deirdre. Deirdre, our drinker, our little party diva. And then, of course, we did a canine paw prints and bones. We can't leave Freddie out, so we've got feline paws and bones. Again, 8x8 stencil, but this time we've got little fish bones in there, and we've got a little cat paw. And again, if we sort of show you that in its embossed format, you can see that bosses or debosses beautifully. And that completes all of our new goodies to share with you today. So you've got flowers, you've got your characters, we've got our 4 new stencils, we've got our alphabets, and then I've given Pete the circles, so I don't know where they've gone, but we've of course got the circles of the mats and layered eyes. So if you were just tuning in to see all the new goodies, that is the brand new collection. But would you like to see some samples? Should we show you what this lot is going to create and give you a bit of an idea on what you're going to be able to do with it? Because I always think it's that bit that's really important. Now, I know we're 40 minutes in, so I apologise, lots of waffling, but I think you'll agree it's a big collection and a lot to sink your teeth into and loads to sort of explore and play around with. But I promise we'll try and fit in some demo in before we let you go. But I do want to share with you some samples. So let's start off with our first one, which is going to be Freddie, because I think we need to see Freddie, don't we? So let's just show you some samples with Freddie. Now, I'm going to put the question out there now for you so you can get thinking of your answers. We're going to give away whatever card I make this evening, and we'll try and fit in 1 card at least before we go tonight. So if you would like to win the cards we make tonight, and we'll post them to you anywhere in the world, so it doesn't matter where you are watching this, but of course it does have to be live because Pete's going to pick the winner at the end of the live tonight. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm afraid this will be over because YouTube is a repeat. But if you're watching us live on the 7 PM now on the Jamie Rodgers Crafts Facebook page, pop in the comments what the name of your first animal was. And if you haven't had an animal, which is always possible, then what would you call your animal if you had one or if you ever have one? We just want silly names, really. So feel free to pop them in the comments. And at some point, me and Pete will confess what our first animals were called and why. Haven't told Pete we're going to do that.
I wasn't pre-warned of that one.
You wasn't pre-warned, was you? Life's too short to pre-warn you. Let's see what we could show you. So, of course, we have got Freddie the Fisherman out doing a bit of decorating in a little shaker card full of the tools which come with the mechanical collection. And in his little pocket, I've sliced the pocket slightly so I can pop in the little pliers, and I've cut his hand slightly so that I can put the paintbrush in place for, obviously, his decorating it is up to. Now, this is really cool. Sharon's created this. This is a little tic-tac-toe game set, and Sharon's used the little food bowls and a little fish to decorate and put over the little MDF pieces. Another one here by Sharon where she's used the fish to stamp up the background, used the fish bones to stamp up the front bit, and then brought in the fish to hang on the fishing rod, added in the fishing rod, coloured in Freddie. I thought that was really cute and cool. And I love the way that you can play around with the colours of his dungarees and his t-shirt to dress him up into whatever theme and style you want to. Then we've got another one here that I've done where I've taken Freddie and I've built him up. I've given him a bit more of a feminine colour scheme here, so we might want to class him as Francesca, but I think that might get confusing, so I'm still going to call him Freddie. But Freddie is once again out fishing, so he's got his rod, he's got his little bucket of fish, he's had a productive day today. And then down the side we've got his little stamp sentiment as well of have a perfect day. Freddie also likes to join in with old Deirdre and go out for a bit of a party. So here we have Freddie celebrating the party season with his balloons in hand and those balloons and streamers in the background. And then, of course, Freddie, who is a bit of a drinker as well, we can't leave it just down to Kim and Deirdre. So Freddie, glass in hand, is out celebrating the 18th with the background being done with the lovely stencil that we've brought to you as well, our lovely paw prints and bone stencil. And this time I've letterpressed with it so that we're getting that lovely inky background with the embossed elements being remained left white. Then we'll move on and we'll show you the next one. So our next setup is going to be Deirdre. So Deirdre the Disco Diva is out in all her glory and of course is celebrating. I feel this one is very New Year's Eve-y. This one's done by Lynn. And Lynn has created a little stepper card, so maybe we're thinking New Year. You will see one somewhere where I've done a New Year version. But of course, Lynn has added 21 onto this one. And she's stamped the disco balls in the background. The disco balls, I meant to mention this when we looked at them. We couldn't fit a die in with the set for them, but the plain circles match up perfectly with the disco ball so that you can cut that out if you'd like to. But of course, we're thinking these are more background stamps than foreground stamps. So you're probably going to be using it like Lynn has here to make up her background elements. Little sentiment that comes with this one, it's wise to have a hoot on your birthday. I don't think I read those out, but that is of course on your stamp set as well. Another one here by Lynn, and this little stamp says across the bottom, owls just want to have fun. That again is on the set of stamps as well as the glass that Lynn has turned into this little champagne tower. And the birthday cake, she's added a little 70 into the balloon up here from the numbers set. And then, of course, used the stencil in the background where she's inked through it and used some of the clear texture paste over the top. Little shout out again to our stockists. Our clear texture paste has just sold out today. I'm going to be honest with you. We had an astronomical amount of clear texture paste come in just before Christmas. We launched it on Christmas Eve and it has sold out today. So if you've been looking for our clear texture paste, do check out the stockist list on the website because it's going to be out of stock probably till when, Pete? About April? May? No,
yeah.
March, April?
March, April. We'll try and get it earlier, but
we are pulling strings, but it's taken us by surprise.
Yeah.
So if you're after the clear texture paste, do shop about for that while people have got it, because when it's gone, it will be a couple of weeks, maybe a month or so, till it's back in. I know that we all have shopping lists, don't we? We all think, well, I'll add that to the list. I'll get it in a couple of days, a couple of weeks, whenever. Nice if I can give you a little shout out of what's selling out, so you know to stock up when you can find it. So again, stockist list for that one. I see that Trish says she's got Deirdre Barlow stuck in her mind. That was a little bit of inspiration to where Deirdre comes from, I can't lie to you. Deirdre was in that sort of mindset. Do you remember when Deirdre was locked up and they did all of the sort of protests?
the Free Deirdre campaign.
Free Deirdre. That was in my youth, so that's kind of stuck in my mind. So yeah, Deirdre was after that. You can tell my sort of TV viewing habits, can't you? By Rodney the Snowman and Deirdre the Owl. Yeah, there's lots going on there. Now, I know we're showing you a lot here where we've cut out and used the complete item. Of course, you don't have to. If you want to bring these in and stamp them just like you would an ordinary stamp and not do the die cutting, absolutely fine to do that, make larger panels. Again, you're going to see the alphabets being brought in on this one, that lovely embossed stencil in the background. Deirdre is a party animal, but by day she also likes to do a little bit of construction. So here we've got Deirdre hanging onto a spanner, and of course our spanner background being used from the stencil. And now we will move on and we will have a little look at Hazardous Henry, who is our last one of the stamps and dice sets. Oh, I will show you this. So this is a little candle. I'm hoping you're going to see that okay. It might come across a bit reflective due to the packaging, but here is a little candle that Sharon has created. And Sharon also took our lovely Deirdre and put it onto a little hanging charm where she's created this using shrink plastic. So of course, when we're talking of stamps, I know they're quite a large stamp. You don't have to use them that big. Bring in some shrink plastic, and of course you can take them off in that direction. I am showing you lots of samples tonight. Of course, we'll show you more on the Highlight Craft shows. We'll also show you more on the future Facebook Lives as well. Now, this is what I was on about with our hazardous Henry. Of course, he is normally digging the roads, but there's no reason why we can't turn him into a bit more of a flower power guy. So his high-vis jacket, I've just doodled, really. Anyone who's into a bit of doodling or zentangling can certainly see how they can come in and add a bit more detail to his clothing if that's something you would like to do. I've also added in a little shirt that you might just about be able to see underneath his waistcoat. Again, great for dressing up. These flowers, of course, for our brand new flowers. This was actually, if I remember rightly, this was the card that we gave you the sneaky peek of last night. On the inside, I've added another little circle on my gatefold card there. Then another one using Henry with the mechanical collection. So this time Henry's just sat over the outside of the circle with the cog background and the cog corners inside one of the cog squares. So really do work well together as collections, but of course you don't have to take Henry off in that direction if you don't want to. This one again, I love how Ian's coloured this. I hope this comes across okay. But Ian has done some beautiful shading to create Henry. I love it when Ian gets the chance to colour and create. When we bought you Rodney, he did some incredible colouring for those, and he's really done the same again here with Henry. Now this is more like James Bond Henry, which I think is great. So this time Henry's been dressed up into a little suit instead. He's got a few balloons trailing behind him. I'm going to speed up a little bit just so you see more samples, because I'm conscious that we've got lots to go through and there is loads and loads of inspiration. We're going to be posting lots of these on Facebook as well over the coming days, so you'll get to see more from this collection as well in that format. And it's nice sometimes to be able to save the pictures too. But I will show you a bit more inspiration with the flower sets next, because it's not, I don't feel we've spoke about those a lot. And I've got some lovely projects to share with you using the flowers. So let's go on and show you this one. This one's done by Lynn. And this is what I really love with our design team. They're such a talented bunch, because of course the flowers are very cartoony in their style, and that was really intentional because I knew that these ones were going to be going with, of course, our cartoony characters. But actually taking the flowers and using them on an everyday project works really nicely. Now I know Lynn's got some photos of how she's created this one, so watch out for those appearing on the group. If you're not already on the group, it's created with Jamie Rodgers Crafts, and it would be lovely to see you in there sharing your creations from our products, and of course seeing what the DT posts as well. And I know that Lynn has made this using the new circle dies, but you're going to spot in here the lattice corners and the lattice background, which is the big oval, which come out with the Ripple Blooms collection. And she's used those as sort of that lovely backing panel to work around and create her wreath over. Lovely tag done by Ian using lots of different flowers. And even if you just want to go in and look at the individual flowers and how Ian's layered these and created them, so you can see just a few of the ways in which you could be building these up. To me, this is a great example board of different ways to build those, different styles to build them up. Ian's also created this one for us, which I really love, where he's brought them in and sort of shown you how you can build these up with the foliage. Another one here where Ian, I believe this one's Ian, I keep saying Ian, I'm sure this one's another Ian one, where he's built them up around a little circular card, which of course has been cut with the dies. He's made a little stand so it stands up nicely, and then he's added on lots and lots of flowers, which I thought was really pretty. This one again, I think is done by Ian. We're on a bit of an Ian roll. Where he's taken the, I love this, I think this is so cute. He's taken all of the little foliage pieces, turned it into an underwater scene. And he's even made a little clam out of the leaves as well, which I think is so adorable. And he's added in the little fish, which of course come with Freddie, the fisherman. Another couple here with our flowers on. Now this one I think is Wendy. I think this one was Wendy. Might have been Ian, I'm sorry. I meant to write on the reverse of them so I remembered, and now I've gone ahead and forgot. So apologies guys. But another one from our incredible design team showing you how you could bring in those numbers, those letters, and of course the flowers to decorate. And this one was Wendy, I'm sure. Wendy's done this one. I love this. I think this is so cute. And I love how our lovely little Freddie the fisherman looks like he's going to kill you. And I said this to Pete last night, and he was like, he does. And I think he's got such a cool, sinister look about him. And I think that's really cool because it shows how just by your colouring, you can create such different stories and personalities for them. But again, beautiful display of florals running around underneath sort of Psycho Freddy. But I love it. I think it's gorgeous. And I really love that. And I think it's a gorgeous card and a great way to sort of show the different characteristics that you can create with the stamps and build up with. Now we're going to move on and we're just going to show you a few of the samples with the stencils. We're going to do these really quickly because I've been waffling for hours. So again, bringing in stencils and embossing with them to make some backgrounds. Another one, this one again, this is cool. This one's Wendy. So Wendy has used a texture paste over the top of the MDF circles, brought in and built up the tools and created that beautiful effect. Moving on to our lovely paw print stencil. So this is the stencil we're chatting about. Lynn's made, oh no, who was this one? This one's Wendy as well. I love this. I said to Pete last night, if you were somebody who was into Norwich City, as in the football club, and you really wanted to make a lovely birthday card for a cat-loving Norwich City fan, I love the way that it's been colour coordinated to match. And I think that's a really cool idea, being able to bring in those colours, bring in those themes. This does make me think we need a little football to put at Freddie's feet, maybe one day. And then another one here, this one's done by Lynn, colouring in on the bag here. Now, Lynn has very cleverly made one of those envelope bags that Wendy showed us how to do. And in it, she's even put some little dreamies for my lovely little cat, Sherlock, which I think was a really sweet little gesture and a lovely little idea. And of course, we've got Freddie on the outside here, who's off fishing to create that effect. Another one here by Ian, showing you that scene building up idea. And he's used the balloon to make the little vase to put the flowers into. And then another one here, where I think this one was done by Ian as well, actually. Inky background, and then adding on Freddie to the top here. And then our last one, I believe, and then we might show you some more samples at the end, but we'll show you this one. This one again is our lovely balloon one, being brought in with Deirdre, showing you a couple of ways to build this up. We've got the numbers, we've got the letters on here. Oh, and there's another stencil I'm lying. And of course, we've got Deirdre with her disco ball. And then another one, this one's done by Sharon, where she's coloured through the stencils to make up that background. And another one with Sharon, where she's used some texture paste to go through. And then she also stamped the background with the disco balls. So lots of lovely ways to use this one and build up. And of course, we don't have to use this with the characters. We could just use it with a birthday cake, which works really nicely as well. And then last stencil, last few cards, and then I promise we'll do some demoing. And if you haven't already, let us know in the comments the name of your first animal, and Pete will pick a winner at the end to give away whatever card we make this evening. So I'm just going to go through these ones quickly. You're going to get the idea very nicely how you can bring those spanner backgrounds in and work between the different characters, build up that story. This is what this collection's all about, is building a story, building up all of the elements right the way from the background, right the way through to the foreground, and then trying to hopefully cover some topics that are going to take you throughout the whole year, whether it's birthdays, whether it's even Christmas. You think about putting these with some Christmas decorations and putting them into little formal wear. I think that could work really nicely. Oh, Pete's still handing in the samples that I said we'd do at the end. So I'm going to show you one in case I forget. And then I promise we're going to do something. I just want to share this with you. This is done by Wendy. I'm going to take it out of the pocket so you can see it. As a scrapbooker, I think this is incredible. Wendy has created our first birthday across the top. She's made her big frames here to put photos into. And then she's brought in all of the characters and added them across, holding these like they're balloons on some ribbon. Little birthday cake, and then through the stencil in the top corner here, we've got those balloons going in as well. Now, there is lots more samples I'm going to share with you later. But for now, shall we do some demoing? Because if not, we're not going to fit any in. I'm going to pass this lot off to Pete, and we'll have a little play and do some demoing, shall we? So if you haven't already, let us know in the comments what you're thinking of this collection. What bits do you like? What bits have you fallen in love with? I want to know. Tell us what you're thinking. Let's have a little look at what else we have got going on in the comments. Pete will have to dig back, and if I've missed any, but we'll have a little look and see. I'd love a pig stamp and die. Maybe a Percy. Oh, I don't know if M&S would be happy if we had a Percy. Might get... Didn't they go after... Was it Aldi or Lidl that they went after for their caterpillar cake? We might get in trouble with Percy. You could have Petunia the pig. I don't know. I'll work on that. But yeah, I like the idea of a pig. I do like that. We need lots. Fran says football. Maybe. Say no more. You'll get me in lots of trouble. This is, again, and I'll be honest with you, Cuddly Clan is the beginning to another library. You know we love to do this. Everything we do, we refer to them as libraries. So Cuddly Clan, our first 3 animals within that, creatures within that. There will be more. And again, true transparency I always think is important. If this proves as popular as we predict it will, then more will have to come to follow. It's always down to how popular a product is, to how many more we can do with it. And that's just, common sense, isn't it, really? But honesty, so it's nice to be honest with you all. So let's have a little look. I feel like I've missed something else. The small die could be a football. Absolutely, Marguerite, it could be. But it'd be nice if we had a footballer. I can't. I've got to stop. I'll get in lots of trouble. Let's have a little look. Lovely samples. Affordable Crafting says, thank you very much. We are so lucky. We have such an incredible design team that go above and beyond. But so do you. Denise Vine has been making some lovely cards that we've shared, and it's really lovely to see that you've been a stockist that's on board and creating and sharing and carrying on the inspirational journey with us all. Alison says she loves it all. Lou says she wants everything. Sorry. Lynn says lovely samples. Thank you on behalf of everybody. Robin says my first animal, I was a cat called... My first animal, not I was. Honestly, last week we classed Robin as a man, apparently. I'm blaming
Oh, yeah,
Pete
I was in trouble.
that.
Sorry, Robin.
And now this week I'm classing you as a cat. Honestly, I apologise. It all gets a bit blurry by this stage. So your first cat was called Sheila. Now, if anyone doesn't know this, Robin is our brand new stockist in New Zealand, which is representing picture
stamps.
That's the one. Picture stamps. I got the first bit, forgot the last bit. Picture stamps. If you haven't seen the announcement we made only a couple of days ago, check that out. It's got a link to Robin's Facebook page. It tells you all about picture stamps as well. So check them out, support them. They are our New Zealand, our only distributor or stockist in New Zealand. Of course, I love Deirdre, but she needs a pint glass, says Kim. I can't give you any more hints. I can't. I'm going to get yelled at. No, please don't call in Percy. They will come for you. I work for M&S. Yeah, I think they would. I think you might be wrong. Okay, Pete, I'm going to let you see if there's any more comments that I need to know about. And I will read them all later. But I'm conscious we need to get on. And the last thing you want to keep doing is looking at my left ear while I read a screen. So, Pete, yell out anything that's... needs answering, or just any funny names. We want to know about what's going on. So we need to know. So, okay, should we play with Deirdre first of all? Let's play with Deirdre. So I'm sure you've all seen stamps and dies that match up previously, but just in case we've got anyone new with us this evening who hasn't seen a stamp and die set matching, it'd be nice to just give it a little stamp and cut so you can see how it works. Just throwing lots of things on the floor. Oops. Oops. So let's find Deirdre's stamp set. So we've got Deirdre. Let's see what she's up to. Let's see what Deirdre's doing for this card. So I thought actually we would keep Deirdre in her rightful place for the first time when we play with these. If we fit in another demo, then we'll possibly take one of the characters off and do something unintentional with them, as in changing what they're doing. But we'll bring in Deirdre, our lovely stamp. Now, for this one, we need Deirdre. We need a balloon. I seem to have lost my balloon stamp. It's probably in my box somewhere. Oh, here it is. So we'll bring in a balloon and we'll stamp out the balloon. Now, when you're doing this, of course, match up as many bits as you're going to be using. And I thought I'd show you this because it's nice for you to see. When I stamp mine, I tend to stamp all of the bits I need. I'm going to cut those out with some of our layering sentiment dies, is my plan. I've got the circle to go with that one, and then I've got all of the different dies to go with these different bits in my set. So I tend to stamp everything and then cut them out. But of course, go about it however you know how you want to. You might know that you're going to use loads of balloons, so you want to cut more balloons or stamp more balloons. It's up to you, obviously how you're going to go about this. But it's nice to have a plan of how other crafters are crafting. So we'll bring in some ink. Now I'm going to colour everything I'm doing. Every sample you've seen that I've created, I have stamped and then coloured with alcohol markers. So I'm going to use our quick dry pigment ink, and I'm going to do this. I can see that Deirdre just needs moving over just a little bit. Does anyone else do that with their stamp press? I always put the stamp going by the grid on the inside, and then I forget that when it comes over, there's a little lip. and then that part of the stamp won't hit because of the lip. So then I have to move them all over. I really need to like mark with a Sharpie on the inside of my stamp case where that line is so that I don't have to keep doing that. But knowing I should do something and actually doing it are two very different things, aren't they? So we'll give these a little stamp. Now we're in a stamp press. If they're not great, we can do them again. But actually, I'm really happy with them. They're really lovely. Our stamps, just so you all know, are made from a thicker PVC so that they're really durable, I suppose is the right word, and are going to be really strong and stand up for a long time for you. And that's something that we're really passionate about, is making sure that your stamps are going to last for a long time and match up with your dies so that you've got that longevity in your product. That's, of course, really important. When we're spending our pennies, we need to know that they're going to last a long time. So we're going to delve into the die set for these. So let me just grab those as well. I've got all of mine laid out in a little box today, the whole collection. So we're just going to dig in, see if we can find Deirdre's dies. Sounds like a little side hustle for Deirdre. Deirdre's out creating her dies. So we'll bring in Deirdre and we're going to line this up over the top. Now, I will be honest, when I'm doing this, I like to look on it from above so that I can make sure I get it in the right place. But the outline die will match up perfectly around the edge. And then we're just going to use some tape to hold Deirdre in place so that we don't have to fear her trying to escape while she's going through the machine. So we'll hold her in place and then we'll bring in these other bits as well. So again, we'll pop on the balloon. And you might wonder, and again, I'm not telling you how to, I'm just going to tell you how I do it. I tend to cut them, so I'll stamp them, then I cut them, then I colour them. Just because I know that my lining up isn't always great with anything in life, a bit wonky-eyed. And I also know that sometimes if I knock the machine or I move them, I might end up beheading Deirdre, not intentionally. And then I've coloured it in and I've spent 20 minutes colouring it or however long, and then I've got her without an earlobe. So I would prefer to cut her first and then send her through and then colour her in. But you know, you might be more confident than I am in what you're doing, but I do tend to do it this way around. So I'll bring in my plates and we'll send this one through just so we can see these cut out. Now these are nice dies, they're just outline dies really, so there's nothing too tricky with these. We're just going to get that perfect outline. Now all of the characters, of course, when you actually see the dies like this, might be easier for you to see them. But they're all ever so easy to line up. There's nothing really in them that's not needed. And when they cut out, they're going to leave you that nice little crisp white line around the edge, which I always think gives a really elegant finish to your coloured project. Gives you that point of difference between your card already, doesn't it? So we have Deirdre, we have our balloon, and we have our little party hat. Now, how simple and easy is that lot to cut out? And how many times are you already thinking, well, I'm going to cut lots of them balloons, I'm going to cut lots of Deirdre's. And of course, your apertures that you've created are great as well, because you might choose to take Deirdre, colour her, and layer her underneath to make a little window. Or you might want to make that the front of your card, so you've got a little sneaky peek at Deirdre on the inside, maybe. They're all options. But it's nice to see that the aperture is a usable aperture that's going to match up. Actually looks a little bit like a chalk outline, doesn't it, from where Deirdre was? Maybe. Doesn't it?
Does a bit.
So we'll bring Deirdre in, and then I'm not going to colour loads because of, I don't even know if I need to colour anything, do I? It's just nice to see in it. So I'll do a little bit. But you don't want to watch me colour. So we're just going to bring in some alcohol markers and start bringing Deirdre to life. And then you can spend hours doing this. I'm going to be truthful with you. I do these in front of the TV, don't I, Pete? I sit for hours. I cut them all, so I stamp them all, I cut them all, and then I sit for absolute hours watching telly, just colouring in. Couple of little tips that I would always give you is always have a piece of card to one side so you can test the colour of your pens, because of, and this might just be mine, I'm going to be truthful, I've got a very cheap set of alcohol markers that I'm really not actually very happy with, because some of them have already started to dry out. And the colours in the pen are very different to the colours on the tips. So because of that, I always have a bit of scrap beside me that I can go in and check out the colour and just see if I'm somewhere where I need to be. I'm sure posher brands of pens are probably more representative in their lid colours. It's one of them, isn't it? You get what you pay for.
Maybe there's something in the future pipeline, James?
I was trying not to give any
Were you?
hints there, Peter. I was trying not to give any indications of anything. But yes, I would like some pens, and that is conversations that are happening.
I think it's a daily request.
It is a daily request that I say
Twice
to Pete,
daily.
I need pens. We've got to have some pens. We need some pens. So it is something we're working on. It'll be a while, genuinely, but it is something we're working on. So Deirdre very quickly comes to life. And again, confession time, I colour like a 2-year-old. I'm not a very good colourist. I often try and find ways to sort of distract the eye from my colouring because I know I'm not very good at it. So I like to heat emboss over the top of coloured images. I like to go into all of them sort of different tricks that I can do. Glazes can be really good to go over the top of them. Anything that adds a level to your colouring that kind of distracts the eye a little bit. You could, of course, I've stuck to alcohol markers because I like alcohol markers and I'm not too bad with them. But of course, you can take these off with watercolours and Elite Misters, and all of those different mediums that you've already got could be brought in to add on. Now, Deirdre is going to have her head off, I'm afraid, because I just want to show you that actually using them just as that is kind of cute. But also, if we cut, colour and layer, we suddenly get more dimension. And of course, and this is something you can experiment around with, I've tended to put the heads back in the right place, which really does sound very wrong, but you might wish to take the head and put it slightly off on a different angle so that suddenly Deirdre looks like she's got a friend. Deirdre could be out for a cup of tea with Doris. And to me, it's giving you that little bit of freedom to turn them and give them a bit more character and build up a different scene. Now, in time, I would like to think that Deirdre's Doris might come out with something else in her hand. I don't know, maybe Doris does work in a coffee shop and that story might come to reality so that their feathers are in different places. But in the meantime, that little trick can really go off and create some different styles just by layering them. And if you don't want to do that, just by adding depth to them can look really nice as well and build up a bit more of a story. So I'm going to go ahead a bit because I know that we've got lots to get through. So card blank size, we're on an 8x8 card blank, or store-bought 8x8, so it's going to be 7 3/4 inches by 7 3/4 inches. We're going to bring in some of our lovely pebble grey, and we're going to place that down. That's going to be 7.5 inches by 7.5 inches. We're then going to go into a white layer, so I'm using our polar white card, and I've used an alcohol marker to run around the edge to match in with the colours that we are going to use for Deirdre's balloons. We're then going to bring in one of our embossed panels. Now, this is done through the machine. If anyone wants to see that happen again, let me know, but I know I do it every week and I'm conscious you've seen a lot of it. But we take the stencil, we put the stencil down, we put the card on top, we put the rubber mat on top of that, we send it through the machine with the top plate on, and it will emboss for you. And I've just done that in prep already, and we've added some tape onto the reverse. Again, our 1mm tape, so it's not too high. We're doing a lot of layers for this card, and we don't want it to end up like a brick. So we're just going to do 3 1mm to build us up to this point. We're then going to bring in our circles. So we've got our postage stamp circle, and you can see on the inside of this one that I've added a little stitch detail, which comes with the deckledge ones. So that's what I'm on about, interchangeability, moving between the sets, exploring what you can create between them. So we're going to add that down into the centre. We're then going to bring in the decal circles with the stitch, so both from the same set, again with 1mm tape on the back of it, and we're going to place that into the centre of our circle. We're then going to bring in Deirdre, and we're going to place her down so we can start building up around Deirdre. So we're going to place her on the circle, and then we're going to bring in our birthday cake. So we've already cut, coloured, layered and taped our little birthday cake. And I've double stacked the tape in the middle, so it's double the height, and we've curved the cake round just slightly, so it's got a bit more of a dome shape to it. And we're going to stand the cake down there on the side. We're then going to bring in a couple of balloons. So you see us cut the balloons, we're going to bring these in, and we're going to pad these going off the top of that circle. Trish Mann asks, do we sell the rubber mats? the rubber mat comes with the machine. Normally, not all brands do that. I'm using a Pro Cut Kit and Caboodle, or a Pro Cut from Kit and Caboodle. That one does come with the rubber mat. So I'm afraid we don't sell the rubber mats separately. I'm sure if you have a look around, you will find them available. But a lot of machines should and do normally come with them, but not all machines do, in fairness. So if you found yourself without one, I'm sure you'll be able to track one down, but it's not a line that we stock, I'm afraid. So then we're going to bring in just a pen, and we're going to add some strings coming off those balloons and down to Deirdre's hands. And then we can put that down, and Deirdre is now holding onto them balloons that are flying through the sky. So if you would like to win our first card of the evening, or all of the cards, because we'll put them together, don't forget to put in the comments the name of your first animal that you had. And at this point, I'm going to break off and ask Pete, what was your first animal and what did you call it?
Of course, you caught me having a drink.
It was all played for. I weren't watching. So I haven't put the out on Deirdre. Do you need a minute?
No, I was quite young, honestly, but it was a goldfish, and he's called Graham.
Graham.
And he lived about 10 years old. He was like tiny, and then.
What is it with you? Your cactuses lived longer than the average cactus. Your fish lived 10 years. What's going on?
If you're bringing me cactus into it.
What's going on with you? Okay. So Graham the goldfish.
Graham the goldfish, yeah.
I feel Graham should, I don't know how we'd, I don't know what we'd do with a goldfish. I need to have a little, like, we'd like to give the characters little lives. So I don't know. Graham the goldfish, what could we have him doing? What can he do? Underwater. We'll have to give that some thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other people joining in with those, we would love to hear.
There's a few. Quick question from Jill.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the face, which they can't see the face, but they know.
Do you want to see the face? See the face. Give us the face. Come on, Peter. Give us the face.
Jill is asking if there's going to be any SVG files for the scan and cut.
Maybe, Jill. Maybe.
It's in the pipeline, I think.
Well,
possibly.
It's in the pipeline, possibly. Highlight, of course, are brilliant with their scan and cut world, aren't they? And they blow my mind. They genuinely do. The things they do, the way they create it, it's ingenious. We aren't very good with technology. We're not. I do have a scan and cut. I did go through a stage of trying to use it, and I was very successful, being fair. As in, I could get it to work. That's good for me. I didn't really explore a lot of what it could do, but it is something we've been asked for, and it is something that is on our list. So I can't give you a timeline or tell you even what it would be, but it is something we would like to explore. So maybe is the honest answer to the SVG file idea. It's certainly something we would like to explore. I think the craft world has so many little points off to it, doesn't it? You know, you've got your stampers, you've got your die cutters, you've got your digital crafters. It's nice to try and cater for everybody. So we're certainly trying to be as broad as we can be in everything we do. And it seems a shame to not get involved with the SVG world. So it's something we would like to do, in honesty. All right. Any other questions, Pete?
No, I don't think so. No, I'm sorry if I've missed any. My comments are playing up and now they've just started loading again.
We do struggle with our comments, don't we?
Yeah, same. I don't know why.
What should we do next? Shall we? And you can first person to answer and we'll go with it. Should we go for Freddy the Fisherman or Hazardous Henry for our next demo? What would you like? And I'm going to be honest with you, neither of them are doing what they should be doing. So Freddy the Fisherman or Hazardous Henry? Jump on in the comments and we'll see what you all ask for. And in the meantime, we'll check and see if anyone else has said anything that we can answer for you, because it's nice to make sure we don't miss anything. And I think I get different comments to what Pete gets. Judy said she bought new markers recently and they definitely make a difference. They do, don't they? I really do need. I'll be honest, I bought like 260 colours in a big box and they're a bit ropey, to be fair with you. Not an official recommendation at all on them. Oh, lots of people are going for Freddy. Was Freddy the first one? Freddy was the first person, so we'll go with Freddy, shall we? Sharon says Henry. What you like, Sharon? I don't think I've missed anything else, but let me know if I have. Okay, so we're going with Freddy. So Freddy is going to be out doing a bit of manual labour. So this is the one that we're going to do next. And I love this because it means that we kind of, it weren't intentionally a trick question, but it kind of means that we get to bring both pieces together, because we are, of course, going to dress up Freddie using a lot of the embellishments that come with Henry, which I love, because that's what it's about. It's about having that interchangeability and being able to sort of explore and go off in different ways. So we'll bring in our card for this one, and we'll do the boring bit first, shall we? We'll do the building and the layering, and then we'll go on to doing the fun bit. So card blank size is 7.5 inches by 6 3/4, and I've gone for a side opening one. So I've cut this down myself from an 8x8 because I love these side opening cards, and it's the easiest way at the moment for me to create them. We're going to bring in some of our orange cardstock, which I think is called Tiger Orange. Oh, that was a good guess. I wanted to say pumpkin, I don't know why, but I couldn't think we would have called it something seasonal. And then we're going to bring in some of our Raven Black card, and we're going to use our 1mm foam tape to raise this one up, and we're going to place this down on top. Now, for my next layer, I've done the embossing again, and this time I've used the fishbone stencil, so fishbones and paw prints. So send this one through and emboss it, just as good debossed. Honestly, these look so good embossed. I feel like I see somebody mention actually something about embossing one of these. Was it Joanna? And I thought, oh, I'll read that in a second, and then I missed it. You might have to have a look back for me, Pete. See if you can find it. If you want to borrow the iPad, have a look on there, because I think I get different comments to what you do. And then the banner that runs through the middle. So these are all separate pieces. Now you could stamp them and line them up, but I cheated. So I've put mine together on some foam tape to join them together. And this is longer than I need it to be. So I'm going to take off the foam pad pieces, and we're going to pick roughly about halfway through the card. And we're going to line those up to be the bit in the middle. Now the joins I'm going to cover because Freddie's going to stand in front of one of them, and a little sign is going to go in front of the other one. I'm going to wrap this round to the reverse of the card, and we're going to trim off the excess. And we're going to wrap this one round, and we're going to anchor it down underneath that foam tape piece, so we can take these parts away. So what do you all think then of having stamps and dies that match? Do you like that for us as a brand? Is that something you've been waiting to see us do? Is that something you'd like to see more of from us? Your feedback genuinely does govern an awful lot of what we do. We have to plan quite a way in advance, don't get me wrong. You know, so when we talk about things, we could be talking as far as what currently. I think we're kind of chatting and planning for July, maybe?
Yeah,
July
yeah.
currently. So yeah, not everything happens overnight, and I know that sometimes can get a bit frustrating. I have to try and be careful what I say, because I love you to know what's coming. I like you to know what we're building. I like you to know what's going to happen in the future. But also, I know how teasing it is when something's going to be like 6 months away. So forgive me if I tease you a little bit. But yeah, it's always nice to get your feedback. And if you haven't already, this is a shameless plug because I love you to do this. Pop onto the website, www.jamierogerscrafts.com. When you land on there, it's not a website you can purchase from. You know us. We respect our stockists. We're backing our stockists. We want you to support our stockists, especially at the moment. The craft industry is in a very strange place. And if we can support our stockists, to us, that's a really important thing to do. Genuinely. You know, I've had a store for many, many years. And to me, if we can support little stores, big stores, all stores, I think we've seen this recently, especially this year in the craft industry. Doesn't matter if you're big or small, you're falling. You know, there's a lot of struggles going on. So if we can do our bit to support our stockists, we will do. And you can do your bit to help us support them by going onto the website I mentioned and reviewing the products you've purchased. I know you've got them. I know you have. We know, we see it. So if you've got them, and this doesn't actually have to be positive. Now, of course, we would love you to give a 5-star review to every product of ours you've ever purchased. But if genuinely there's something you're not happy about, something that you think could have been improved, something you wish was being done in a larger size, a smaller size, a different weight, that's a really good place to let us know. Because if we can, we'll do it. And hopefully you've seen that over the last few months. It's like we did our glue, we was asking you to do bigger, we've gone bigger. You know, that's kind of our logic. We listen to what you're up to, what you want. And those reviews are great because not only do they tell us what you like about what we're doing, it tells other crafters what you like about what we're doing. And it also helps support the stockists by giving those a sort of a point of reference to know what to purchase and what to stock, what you like. And it also gives us all the things that we can share to say about the products as well. So yeah, if you get 5 minutes, you've got a cup of tea, got a couple of bits of ours in your stash already, pop on the website, give us a review, let us know what you're thinking. Genuinely, I'd really appreciate it if you did. Because it's one thing, and we often say this, but it's one thing us going on about how much we love a product or how good the glue is or any of the other things you hear us chat about all the time, or the interchangeability of the dyes or the weight of the cup, whatever it is. It's you that actually has the voice here that tells the world what it means and what you like. So yeah, if you can, we would love you to do that. Shameless plug over. I'm going to go back to what we're meant to be doing. Let's bring in our lovely Freddie die, and we're going to put together a cat and do a bit of cutting out. I have just, if you could hear the cogs turning there, for some reason I just remembered Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
I hadn't pieced together Freddie and Freddie Mercury before, but now I'm thinking it needs like musical instruments and a little mic stand and little bits like, okay, Pete's looking at me with like, look again, I'll shut up. I'll be quiet. I'll anchor Freddie down.
Watch this space.
No, that wasn't a hint or a comment it was just a thought process of, I love these characters. I just think there's so many different ways and styles we could take them off into and different scenes and stories we could be telling with them. And I love that idea. I also like the idea, again, as a scrapbooker, about taking the characters and putting them through the albums on different pages. Or maybe if you've got a little one that you want to write a little storybook for and you want to, we've give you a bit of a backstory to our characters this evening. You might want to leave out Deirdre's drinking problem. But you could make your own little story up and take them through and make little scenes for them. I always think something like that's a really fun idea. Or like Wendy did one for the steampunk collection, didn't you, or the mechanical collection? And there is one here today as well, where Wendy's put a few cards together in a little box and made a little gift box with them. And I always think that's a really cool idea and a lovely way to make a little gift set. So I'm just taking Freddie from in the die, held in a little bit by the tape. But again, we can see that Freddie's perfectly cut out. Now, I don't ever mind cutting, to be honest. It never bothers me cutting round stamped images. But that's going to have taken me a good few moments. There's probably going to be a few sharp edges. I'm going to nick an ear or something that I don't like. I'm never going to get into all those details around his whiskers as well as that die has done. That's really gone in and got all of the bumps. Even up here on the ear, it's got all of the little bumps going across it. And I probably would have ended up nicking his ear. So to me, I think that's really fun and a great way. That's, honestly, it's when I do these and I endlessly waffle, do I think of all these different things. How cool would this be to take him off in like a little goth setup or a little punk rocker setup and give him like little earrings in his ear or like a Mr. T necklace? How cool would that be?
We're getting too carried away, aren't you?
Sorry. Okay, we'll go back to where we were. So we'll bring in Freddie. So we've coloured in Freddie, and this time we've gone for blue dungarees and a little red t-shirt. And we've added some foam tape onto the back of him, and we're going to stand him just there on our project. We're then going to go ahead and we're going to bring in Henry's hard hat, because of course this will fit just as well on top of Freddie as it does on top of Henry. And we're going to place that. Oh, see on this one, I have cut the white lip off. I've gone round the edge and cut the white lip off. So you might choose to do that. I'm going to leave it because he's on. So we'll have the white lip in place. We're then going to bring in the traffic cone. Again, all cut out, all ready to go. And we're going to stand that just behind Freddie, just to build up that depth. And then we're going to bring in the spanner. Now, I have forgot to cut his hand, I think, haven't I? So we'll see what we do. We'll see if I'll cut part of his hand already, but I'm going to cut it slightly down further, just so I can open up his paw. Call it a hand, but it's a paw. I'm going to open up his paw, and I'm going to give you a little close-up on that, because you can cut right the way down the side there, so that you've then got that open paw to put bits into. So we're going to bring in the spanner, and we're going to tuck it into his paw so it properly looks like he's holding onto it. Now, don't forget that that little pocket, if you just cut a line with a knife, you can then pop something in the pocket, which looks really nice. Maybe you want to give some money and you want to wrap a £5 up and pop that in there. Or maybe you want to put a little gift voucher in there for a nice day or an experience or something. Maybe that could be like a little pocket reveal that something comes out and sort of is the gift or the present or the item. And then we're going to bring in our little hazardous triangle. So this one doesn't have a die, so I've just cut round it, coloured it in, and we're going to put that over the join here on the background to complete the back of that card, or to complete that card completely. So that's, again, our little Freddie, bought in and built up to give you an idea of how Freddie could look like he's actually a workman out doing a little bit of construction, which I think is really fun and really cool. Any other random comments? Did I just see somebody there about Mrs. Doubtfire? Mrs. Doubtfire, that'd be a cool one. Me and Pete went to see Mrs. Doubtfire last year on the West End, in the West End. That was very cool. Love Mrs. Doubtfire. So yes, Fran, that would be very, very cool indeed. And if you do it, I need to see it. So please share it with us. I need to see it. Please, please, please. So
it was Joanna who did the card. It was a stepper card you were on about earlier with the embossing.
Oh, was it? Oh, lovely. And you liked your embossing your stencil? Was that the comment? I've missed
yeah,
this.
very much.
Yeah,
so. Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
That's the important though, isn't it? That we sort of know that you're enjoying them and that they work together and that you're happy with what they create. That's good. Thank you. Nice to hear. I mixed your light blue and yellow Elite Misters for a green to paint some foliage. Forgot I had the dark green. Yeah, but that's quite nice though, because if you've probably ended up with a lighter green than you would have had to have gone for the trying to remember the name now. The dark green. We'll call it the dark green. They're around here somewhere, aren't they? But yeah, never mind. Fran says, mic stand, I like that. I think I need a wannabe freestyle for any of the characters. That would work. Jamie and P, is there a place in the group for suggestions for dies, etc.? There isn't, Kathleen, but there could be. That's a very good idea. Thank you for that. I will see what we can work on. I'll see what we can pop up. Maybe we could pin a comment or something. See, this is where I show my lack of knowledge with technology, but we will put something somewhere so you can do that, because that's really important. We do have a bit of a list at the moment that we're trying to catch up with and work on, but all ideas are always great ideas. So please do share with us. Leonard the Leopard. Oh, they're all getting into the game of this, aren't they? Use the chain from the steampunk collection. That would work brilliantly, Kim. We could. Have we missed anything else, Peter?
Alison was pleased to see the star appearance, the star of the show.
The glue.
The glue.
The glue. Our lovely Alison. She does love our glue.
She does.
I feel the glue might have been overshadowed a little bit today by Deirdre. What's your favourite? Another question for you. Deirdre, Freddie, and Henry, what one's your favourite at this stage? Now, obviously, we've used Deirdre and we've created with Freddie. We haven't yet with Henry. What one's your favourite? What one are you? Which one have you fallen in love with? Which one is kind of be winging its way home to you? And even if you're going to go for all of them, which one do you think is your favourite? What one's pipped it to the post? I want to know. Bertie the Badger. Well, I like that, Samantha. Should we do another kit? Have we got time for one more, Pete, before we leave them? I feel very anti-Henry. Henry hasn't...
Oh, you've got a...
Henry might be feeling slightly neglected.
3 kits, 3 animals.
3 kits, 3 animals, and then we're going to leave you in peace. Yeah. Sorry if we're boring you to tears, but we are going to do one more. So hopefully you'll stick with us. We'll see. We'll take Henry, and this time we'll take Henry fishing. Henry's worked hard, hasn't he? Henry has been out building them roads. Henry needs a day off. So like all good dogs that need a day off, the first thing on his mind is to go fishing. So let's bring him in and do some fishing. And it'll also give us a chance to play with the circles, because we haven't yet shown you those, have we really? So if you're new to the layering dies or the mats and layering dies, it'd be good to bring those in. So we're going to start off for this one, cutting the frame. So I'm going to use the postage stamp edges from the square set, and we're going to use that one to cut our outside frame. We are then going to bring in pierced circles. Oh, these are the stitch, but that's fine. We'll go for stitch for this one. Pierced or stitch, never mind. And we're going to pick one of these. It's the next size down. And we're going to place that in the centre of our square. We're then going to bring in a plain circle, and we're going to put that on the inside to create our opening for our frame. Now, I don't know. Let's have a little look, because if I can find it, We might be able to. Oh, I think it might be the one I haven't got here. I've lost one of these. I don't know where I've put it. Is that going to fit? Oh, I think we're going to fit all right in there. So we'll add in a little stitch detail onto the inside of our frame as well. And we'll cut this out in some white card. Have you got your winner in mind yet, Peter? Or have they still got time?
Yes, I do. Sorry, yeah.
You've got one in mind?
I do have one in mind.
Oh, suspense is building. Which is your favourite, Peter? Marguerite would like to know.
I think I like Deirdre.
Deirdre?
Yeah, although I seem to remember Kim's comment. She said obviously it couldn't be her because it hasn't got a pint glass. So.
I think Kim might need a pint glass.
She might need a pint glass.
We might have to come up with a pint glass.
We still need to do our little pub mate, don't we?
No, don't put that on her. Poor woman. Like, one thing tuning into us endlessly waffling here, the last thing she needs is to actually meet us in reality. So you've gone for Deirdre as your favourite.
Yeah, another reminder if we can as to when are these all available, please.
Absolutely, thank you very much. So these are being released on Highlight Crafts on Thursday at 10 AM. And I do have a date wrote down for that somewhere, I think, but it's this Thursday. It's literally like, what is it, 3 days away? Yeah, 3 days away. So released on Thursday exclusively to Highlight Crafts, and then they will be available next Monday from all of our stockists. So not long to wait in either direction. We know that people like to purchase in different places, so hopefully it won't be too long for you to be able to get your mitts on these ones if there's something you're falling in love with. So Thursday 10 AM on Highlight Crafts, and then I'm back on it in the afternoon at 12. Then Friday I'm on at 10 to Friday I'm on at 10 till 12. So you've got 4 hours across the 2 days, and we'll be looking at these across those hours. We will also be looking at the mechanical collection, and there's a couple of demos I'm hoping we'll do of the mechanical collection mixed in with the Cuddly clan collection. So again, lots to share with you using both collections together as well, hopefully. So on our card, I've just carried on colouring with my pen around this white layer, just so you know where it's come from. Here again is the same colour alcohol marker to match in with the colouring that's coming up in a minute on the top of it. And then we're going to bring in our next layer. So I've cheated again, and I've used our diamond stencil, and I've gone ahead and I've embossed this already. This one came out a while back now. So again, the stockists have already got this one. This one came out with the Christmas Wishes collection last July, I believe. I'm going to keep hold of that if I can, and we're going to place that down in the middle. Oh, no, we're not. I'm lying. We're going to do the next white layer, so we get a nice edge, aren't we? I forget. Sorry. Let's bring in the white first. We'll place that down. See, this is what I love about our glue. We've got that minute of, if we realise we're going wrong, we can correct it and go off on a different tangent. So now we'll bring in our black layer, and we'll put that down on the top there, and then we can bring in our frame. Any other questions, Peter?
No, I don't think so. Wendy was just saying about she likes Henry. It reminds me of her mad dog, and I met a mad dog on.
Did you?
When I went to collect the cards.
When you did a delivery?
He launched at me, but
did he?
So lovely. Yeah.
Oh, I've not met Henry.
Oh, he's lovely.
Okay, so on with our frame, and now we'll start building up. So we'll stamp out Henry as well, just so you can see all 3 of them stamping, because it's always nice to see that they stamp crisp and clear, and that they're going to do what we need them to do, because that's always vitally important, obviously. We always know that these things are a considerable purchase, and when we're parting with our pennies, we need to know that they're going to work just as we need them to, and do the job time after time that we are going to rely on them for. So let's bring in Henry, anchor that down with our magnets. Do you know that's about the 5th thing I've thrown across the room tonight, isn't it? Honestly.
It's a weekly.
It is. But we've done bad with the old dropsy tonight, haven't we? More's gone on the floor than a little. So again, inking up using the quick dry pigment ink pad. We'll stamp that one down. And there we have our lovely little Henry coming to life. It's just such a quick way to get that beautiful impression that we can then build up and work with, isn't it? So let's see if we can find Henry's die. I'm getting in a bit of a mess now at this stage. So we'll bring in Henry, and we're going to lay the die over the top. just so you can see how you'd match that one up. It's just like all of the others, but it's nice to see that it's going to match perfectly for you. I think that's going to look about right. Oh, it's a bit off on his foot. There we go. So send that one through and it's going to cut out for you. And of course, give you another character to play with and decorate. So I've gone ahead with mine as always, and I've already coloured him in so that he's ready to be added to our card. Now, of course, he's holding a spanner, but this Henry is off out for the day. He's not in the work mood, so we need to get rid of that spanner. So we're just going to go in and remove the top of it. Now we're going to be covering over the top because we can still see the sort of rest of the handle for the spanner. Now, if you're not going to add something over the top of him, because you don't have to if you don't want to, I would recommend that you just colour that the same colour as the rest of Henry, and I don't think you overly see it. On one of the cards I've done, I've got Henry holding on to some balloons, so I've coloured it into look like a little holder for the balloons. The glass fits perfectly over the top there. The fishing rod, which we're going to be using, fits well over the top, but it's all down to where you want it to be and what you want Henry to be doing to sort of cover up that spanner element. We're going to tuck him half in the frame and half out, and we're going to place him down just so you can see him sort of stepping out of that window. We're then going to bring in the bucket of fish because, of course, Henry has had a productive day, and we're going to tuck that just under the edge there. And then we're going to bring in the fishing rod, and the fishing rod, of course, comes with Freddy, so does the bucket. We're going to take off the little bit of foam tape on the back of that, and we're going to place that one going just over Freddy's hand and coming down to his foot. And then lastly, we've got a thinking of you, and I've used the same colour alcohol marker to colour in the banner as what we have on the layers, so that it all ties in, and we've added the little thinking of you on the top there. Now, the only thing I don't think we've demoed this evening from the new collection is the alphabet dies. So if anyone has any questions about those before we leave you in peace, let us know and I will show you those as well. But hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of what you could be doing with them. So what does that mean we have created this evening then? We have created Henry out on his fishing trip, Freddie doing a hard day's work with a bit of manual labour, and then Deirdre doing what Deirdre does best, out on the party. Gone out for a bit of a drink to celebrate her birthday. So these 3 cards are available to our winner, or will be sent out to our winner. Now, I know lots of you have been commenting, which one is going to be our winner, Peter? Who is going to receive these?
It made me smile, but hopefully I'm not in trouble. It's a lovely Sue Walkman, so well done, Sue.
Oh, well done, Sue.
She had a budgie called Nookie, and it reminded me of the Carry On films somehow. It brought a smile to my face, so well done, Sue.
So that's what we've got to do, is it? Got to make you chuckle.
Obviously, I'm a child at heart, so...
Okay.
But no, well done, Sue.
Nookie wins for Sue. I like that. Lovely.
Jamie's going to kill me.
No, I'm not going to kill you at all. My first animal was a hamster called Rebound. That was mine.
How do I not even know that?
Do you not know that? I didn't think you'd know that. This is going back some years. There's always a story, isn't there? I wanted this remote control car. It's fine. It's not too bad.
Okay.
There was this remote control car that I wanted for absolutely ages, and it was called Rebound, the car. That was the brand. It was like Nyko or whatever the brand of them were. And it had big tyres, 4 big tyres, and then this car. And the idea was, it was called Rebound because it flipped. When you drove it over things, it flipped. On one side, it was a red car. On the other side, it was a blue car. So it kind of looked like 2 cars. So it's called Rebound. And I think like day 1, I got it, and I took it out and I broke it. And and I'm going back a lot of years, honestly, memory like a sieve here, but I think I broke like 2 or 3 of them in quick succession. And we decided that, maybe this wasn't the toy for me. So somehow we took that back and I ended up with a hamster. I have no idea the thought process behind this. I really don't. My poor parents, the things I put them through. So I ended up with a hamster called Rebound. Oh. Rebound after the car.
There you go.
Not a funny story, just an odd story. Sorry.
Little story of Jamie's life.
Yeah, little odd story for you all.
That
Sorry.
can go down in the memoirs when they're written.
Nobody wants a memoir from me, I assure you. Wendy says you could do an add-on stamp collection to go with the animals. Very good idea, Wendy. Everything is possible. We're very much looking forward to seeing how popular these are. It's a bit like Rodney the Snowman last year. Rodney, I think I can go out and say this, has been our most popular stamp we've ever done. Because of Rodney has proved so popular, Rodney's going to have some friends this year, isn't he? He's going to have to. Rodney just took over last year. Out of all of our Christmas releases, it was Rodney. So this year, Rodney will have to have a family. We're already working on that to come out later in the year. So again, with these, the more popular something is, the more we'll add to it. So definitely, in my mind, I'm hoping they're really, really popular just because I want to carry on playing. I've had so much fun with these, and I think you can probably see that it's genuine excitement and fun that we've had with these. And I haven't even shown you probably half of what the DT and I have made. The samples are endless. The DT team will start sharing samples now on the group. So if you want to see more, keep an eye on the group. I will share a few samples over the next couple of days as well. So you'll see more pop up on Facebook. And then, of course, as we go into shows and next week when the stockists receive them, you'll get to see lots and lots more inspiration sort of shown. Even if it's just the pictures of what we've shared with you tonight, it's nice that you can click them, save them, zoom in and see them. And then if you've got any questions, you can, of course, ask about them as well.
Trish did ask if you can use alcohol markers with your pigment. I think she means with your pigment inks.
Oh, great question. Yes, you can. So all inks vary. So, of course, have a little look at the ink that you're talking of. But I'll answer it from our inks. Our quick dry pigment inks are alcohol friendly, bizarrely, and I'm still scratching my head over this one, but so are our metallic inks. So all of the inks that we've bought you so far are alcohol ink friendly. I didn't know these ones were going to be, but it's a little miracle that they are. But these ones are the quick dry pigment inks. They are water resistant, they are archival quality, they are pigmented for embossing, they are fade resistant, they are acid free, and they are alcohol marker friendly.
It's like you know all that information.
All right on the reverse. Because I do forget myself. It does go around in circles. Okay, I'm going to stop waffling and leave you all in peace because it's getting late. But thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you for joining in with our stupidity and our excitement, because it has been a joy bringing these to you this evening. Me and Pete have both really been looking forward to sort of letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak, with this collection. And as always, I can't wait to see what you all create with them. If you take even half as much fun as we've had creating these and get creative with it, and then if you think of even 5 more ideas, if you do a Freddie Mercury cat, or you do a punk rocker or a goth or anything else, we would love to see them. Or even if you just stick with what they're meant to be, please make sure that you share them with us, whether it's today, tomorrow, or 6 months down the line. The second you've got your hands on them, we'd love to start seeing what you're creating with them. So just to recap in case we've missed it, Highlight Crafts Thursday, Friday, first show 10 AM Thursday, back on at 12. Then Friday, I'm on for 2 hours from 10 AM. And then on Monday, our wonderful stockists around the world will be able to start getting their hands on them. So keep an eye on your favourite stockist. If you don't already have a favourite stockist, pop onto the website www.jamierodgerscrafts.com and you can see a complete list of all of our stockists around the world. If you have any questions, then as always, let us know. We would love to be able to help you and answer them for you. But from me, thank you very much for joining us and joining in with us and being part of our little Monday Night Natter. It's been a joy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Look after yourselves. Take care. I've never had so much camera action.
Back to hostage cam for Peter.
Hostage cam
but
again.
Night from me.
Good night. You take care, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next Monday as well. We'll be back for another Monday Night Natter next Monday. Thank you all, and see you all again soon. Bye.